The fourth Republican presidential debate has concluded, was aired on Fox Business Network, and it was supposed to be about the economy, elaborating on the candidates' positions on economic issues. Instead, it demonstrated that there's a lot of unanimity on economic issues among the Republican candidates, but it did demonstrate that there's a lot of difference on their foreign policy proposals and on immigration.
And we saw a lot of those clashes when it came down to Donald Trump. The businessman slash reality television star has called for supporting the 11 to 12 million people who are in the country illegally. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush and Ohio Governor John Kasich jumped on this proposal, saying that not only was it unrealistic and not practical, but that it was un-American. And both of these men really needed to have a moment tonight. Jeb Bush, he's been struggling badly in the debates. This is arguably his best performance in the debates so far this year. And John Kasich has also been pretty low in the polls. So they were both trying to have a bit of a moment there.
And the interesting thing is that the way they chose to do it is dangerous for them politically.
Absolutely.
Bush came out with a moderate policy on immigration, which he's had in the past, but elaborated on it at some length tonight. Kasich talked about saving banks if it was a matter of saving people's life savings in a future fiscal collapse like we saw in 2008. Both of those positions are broadly popular in a general election, but these two guys have to get there first, and they have to run through Republican land that is not very hospitable to those positions.
I mean, these positions would not be popular with Republican core voters, the ones who are going to be turning out in Iowa on February 1st. But if they do make it to the general, these are voters that they could use to attract moderate voters.
The moderators this time really seem to back away from any contention. They let the candidates blow past it, all of the beepers, and they congratulated themselves quite a few times on how wonderfully they were reporting the debate as opposed to CNBC. There were some stories leading up to the debate that we thought would be talked about tonight. Ben Carson and his background and whether he has truthfully indicated things in his past, and also Jeb Bush's super PAC and whether that was ready to attack Marco Rubio on abortion. None of those issues were really developed in full tonight.
Right. I was surprised. There were so many attacks that people were previewing before the debate. There was also the issue of Senator Marco Rubio and his finances and his use of state Republican Party credit cards in Florida. None of that came up.
In addition to the 8-person first debate, there was a secondary debate with 4 candidates tonight. That one was more fiery. There were 4 on stage instead of 8, and particularly when it came to Chris Christie and Bobby Jindal, the governor of New Jersey and the governor of Louisiana.
Bobby Jindal, I mean, he's barely an asterisk in the poll, and he was clearly trying to be very aggressive, mostly with Christie, but also with former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, arguing that neither of these men are truly conservative.
That's it for now. For more on politics, go to latimes.com/politics. See you later.